Welcome back, Namibia, and good morning. It's Friday, the 18th of July. Now, Namibia has been reclassified, that is, from an upper middle income to a lower middle income country a few weeks ago. That is according, to the latest World Bank's financial year 26 income classification update. Now, Namibia is the only country globally to have moved down an income group in this year's review. Namibia was the only country whose classification moved, that is, downwards this year, that is, from upper middle income to lower middle income category. That is according to the World Bank in its report. Now, the reclassification follows a slowdown in economic growth, and the World Bank reported that Namibia's GDP grew by 3.7% in 2024, down from 4.4% in 2023, citing that is a sharp contraction in the mining and quarrying sector as a major factor. So, joining us this morning, Namibia, with more is economist, that is Dr. Omo Kakujaha-Matundu, I beg your pardon, to elaborate and give us more details and just to explain a few things that we do not understand. Dr. Matundu, a very good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Nicole, and good morning to your viewers, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your time here this morning. There's so much we want to unpack, especially for the layman on the street, in terms of understanding a few of these things. But, Doctor, for us to start, as we just established, Namibia was the only country whose classification moved, that is, downwards this year. What are the key economic factors that contributed to this downgrade, from upper middle to, a lower middle income country?
Yes, Nicole, you remember our presidents, since our first president until Dr. Hakakan, they had beef with this classification of upper middle income country. But now the metrics used, that is GNI per capita, and if the numbers that we get from the NSA is something to go by, it should not come as a surprise. If you look at what we are saying is that GNI or GDP divided by your population, and as we have seen, our economic growth, if I can equate that to our GDP growth, and then the national census 2023 shows that your population has grown while your GNI or GDP has remained constant or sometimes even slowed down. So that is why you move out of that category of higher GNI per capita to that of a low income per capita. So it is a simple matrix, and it goes or complies with the law of averages, where you are saying, Nicole, both of us get into a restaurant, you polish a full chicken, and I don't eat anything, but on average, we have both eaten half a chicken. Yeah, that is what our president had serious problem with, and that was the problem of inequality. They hit back and say that is your distributive policies or distribution, income distribution, that is the problem, but not your GNI or GDP per capita, which has placed you in the upper middle income country. Now that our population has grown and our GNI is either constant or not constant or stagnant, and that is what brought us down.
Thank you, Doc. Now, the road ahead, what challenges will we as a country face as a result of this, classification change? And also, how will it affect, that is, foreign investment or international aid to the country?
Look, not much. The challenges, if one, you could have said this is a bad story for the country, for potential investors, where they are going to say you have grown poorer. But again, if you look at FDI, the foreign direct investment goes where their money is going to yield them the most returns. And in our case now, they are looking at petroleum and gas, so they'll just come. So when it comes to grants, for instance, one could have said, okay, since we could not benefit from grants as well as concessional loans, that is at lower interest rate, one could say yes. In that sense, we could have benefited from that. But when you look at the global economy or the political economy of the world now, and you look at Trump tariffs, and you look at also how the Western world or Western countries are reducing their aid to developing countries and ramping up their defense. That is the UK, for instance, trying to go up to 3.5% of their GDP towards defense. So the same thing with Trump cutting aid to all countries. So I think we should say, Namibia, you are on your own. So is Africa, you are on your own.
Mm-hmm. Doc, the mining sector contraction has been cited as one of the major reasons for this downfall. Would you say that there are some other underperforming sectors that also contributed to this?
Can I get Nicole?
We mentioned earlier in our overview that the mining sector has been, contraction or has been said as a major contribution to this downgrade. Are there any other underperforming sectors that also, contributed to this downgrade?
Yes, you are right. If you look at what we are told is that the mining sector, when you look at, for instance, the competition of synthetic diamonds versus our own diamonds, etc., have also contributed to that. But also our agricultural sector, and you look at the drought that we had and the like, and also the substandard kind of production or performance in the agricultural sector, where we ran down our green schemes, etc. And Nicole, that is where our low-hanging fruits are. It is in the agricultural sector. If we can ramp up our green schemes with a catchphrase which is economies of scale, trying to export intra-Africa, then in that case we can grow our economy or exports, and that will be good for employment. And I'm very glad to mention that the first consignment that is sold through the African Continental Freight Area have just happened, and hopefully we are going to see more. But to see more, we should produce more so that we can achieve that competitive edge which will be brought about by economies of scale. That is, produce as much as we can so that we can export intra-Africa as well as to other nations in the world.
Dr. Matundu, if we speak about, the cost of living, for instance, or possibly job prospects, how can this reclassification impact ordinary Namibians short term?
Yes, one could say that, look, since our GDP is not growing much, you are saying that you are exporting less, or demand for your products not that good. So what that could impact your currency, and that could impact your import prices of your inputs as well as other essentials like your medication or drugs, and that could fuel inflation. And as it is fueling inflation, definitely it will also impact things like your repo rate. And mind you, the South African, our economy is tied to the South African economy, and the South African economy is also reeling very heavily under the Trump tariffs. So that could fuel inflation, and that could bring us back to a high interest or repo rate environment, which could impact your common man on the street.
Yeah, for sure. Now, also in your opinion, Doctor, you know, what strategies could Namibia implement to promote sustainable growth and also improve, its income classification status? And just in case there's like some sense of panic there, from Namibians, how can we still go forward and inspire action?
Yes. One of the things that I think Namibia should do, as I have said earlier, is to try and see what are our low-hanging fruit. I said agriculture. How can we try and support our green schemes, which could lead to all kinds of other industries, value addition, and then use that, use the opportunity of the African Continental Free Trade Area to export to our neighbors as well as other countries. It is very, very important that we don't sleep on the job. I heard the Prime Minister the other day talking about revitalizing Uvungu Vungu, for instance, so that we can at least, even if we are not exporting now, support our local dairy industry and bring your cost of living down.
Certain. Dr. Matundu, we really appreciate your insights here this morning. Perhaps on a final note, what would you like to leave Namibians with this morning?
Thank you so much, Nicole, and thank you to your viewers.
There you have it. Thank you so much, Dr. Namibia, there you have it. As we've learned just about 2 weeks ago that we have been reclassified, that is from an upper middle income country to a lower middle income country. That is to the World Bank. All right. So there we had expert economist Dr. Omo Kakujaha-Matundu talking to us about what this means for us as a nation and going forward and possible future prospects. All right. So we've got more to talk about here this morning. I suggest you just take a quick break with me and then meet me here in a jiff.